Great prep as always. Morning, Farm Lamb. Good sound? What do you mean? Morning, Phil. How was your race yesterday, Phil? I did catch up on a live stream, but it looked like there was a load of A riders there, and it went a bit berserk. The first time up the climb. Okay, water, fan, towel, headphones, mic. Let me know if this is any different, right? I'm going to switch the fan on, see how it changes the tone of the volume of the audio. Alright, I'll try and fix. How's my voice in it all? Because I've changed the audio a little bit. But I'll change it back if it's worse. Does it feel worse? Does it sound worse? Oh, I hear you, Phil. I hear you. Alright, just give me a sec then. And then I'll adjust the audio. Okay, that should have changed the settings completely. That's back to normal now. The trouble is, like, the problem with my stream is the mic is very, very good. And so, not only is it picking up my voice very clearly, it's picking up the fan very well. And it's also because I have to run my bike on the turbo. And because of the rate that I go through chains and everything else, because of the sheer mileage that I do and training, it's like, it's just picking up my noise. Yeah, also I was told to change the noise suppression to try and get rid of the fan noise. Because it's not the bike maintenance that's the issue. It's the fact that genuinely, like if you did as much, I need a Kickr bike, is what I need, so I have to stop putting this blooming bike on the train all the time. It's a nuisance. Yeah, I know, Johan, I can't turn it around. I just took it out of its thing. I can't flip it. Well, not right now anyway. Got some of Science and Sports turbo stuff in here. It's at full strength as well. Me, George. Me, George. Hey, Tom. How are you? To a certain extent, I like all the noises because it's quite like, it's almost like meditation. Like, I don't have any music in now, and yet it's quite peaceful. Oh, cheers, Phil. I'll have a look. I think that has to be a case, doesn't it, George? I think you need a dedicated turbo bike. I think taking it on and off not only ruins the chain, the cassette, but also like hanger alignment. Like, that's another reason for skipping gears. Is like constantly taking the wheel in and out of your bike, you are going to move the hanger slightly sometimes. This race will probably take, I don't know, 2 and a bit hours. Just over 2 hours. It's bound to get faster. You'd be surprised actually how much hanger alignment is the problem most of the time. Makes the stream feel very industrial. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you can hear my voice over the noise, as long as the noise isn't, you know, drowning out my voice. I know, Robin. Well, to be honest, that is starting to get to me.
Have a good one, Ryan. Cheers, Keith. How you doing, Keith? Yeah, but it's funny, the guy who does, like, the guy I go and see, you know, to fit new chain and get the bike a quick look over. Well, actually, it's an excuse just to go there and have a coffee, to be honest. But, no, in all fairness, Emma does a really good job. And he does a thorough job, so, like, you know, most people just change the chain and be done with it, but he was showing me the hanger once, and I hadn't even travelled, like, I hadn't gone anywhere, and, you know, putting the bike in the car or anything like that. But just a case of putting it on and off the turbo. And, yeah, he checked the hanger alignment, and he was like, "Stone me, this is like, it's like really good up here. The minute you start going down to the bottom," he was like, "Flipping heck, I can't even get it down to the bottom, it's just rubbing against the wheel." That's the hanger alignment tool, by the way. You enjoy it, Keith, you enjoy it. Tell you what, you will be saying to yourself afterwards, I think, what the WTF. I couldn't think of any other names, to be honest. I just thought that's just like a perfect way to describe them, because you even get that when you're looking at them, you're like that sounds outrageous, but when you're doing them, you're like 10-second recovery, you're having a laugh. Yes, dear. Cheers, Peaky Blinder. He'll be using it soon, no doubt, because next week we're doing the community races. We're doing the races that run alongside the Zwift Premier League thing. So, like, I'm sure he's going to be racing those and live streaming them, I'd imagine. Like, so it should be like me, Cam. There should be like 6 of us, I think, racing next Tuesday. Not Tuesday coming, Tuesday after. No, Damon, I don't adjust my gears when I take it between the turbo and on the road. I mean, imagine tweaking your gears that much all the time. Yeah, they might be heavier than you could tell. That's good, Keith, that's good. That's a good way of looking at it, actually, because same with me in a way, like, you know, most of you see that I've got like a really high level of fitness, and now it's just a case of like, you know, what can I do differently now that I'm here? And that's a perfect excuse to do them, to be honest. You know, you're never gonna be, you know, to a certain extent. Like for me, I'm not gonna be this fit in like 3 months' time, probably. So, although saying that with Zwift racing, I'm probably likely to be. But yeah, like make the most of it, I see. A 10k done already. I don't think the seas will be here after this right turn though. I wouldn't have thought so, anyway. Well, there we go, Cadell. Yes, what are your thoughts, Keith? Seems like an absolute mental, like, whose idea was that? Is it just a joke? I might actually do that if I'm not, if I'm still in lockdown and there's no chance of the National Hill Climb Championship for me. I might actually do it. Don't worry, I won't attack on lap 1. Yeah, it will be very shit. That's the only downside to a race that long, I'd say, is that it comes down to then specifically the climbs, and it'll just be hard on the climbs, unfortunately. Oh, that's a good good spot there, Robin. What do you think he's trying to do? Vaughn 2 next week, yeah, I probably won't do that. I probably won't do Vaughn 2. I don't give in easy to peer pressure, by the way. You probably know that by now. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, isn't it, Keith? As long as you can climb, 5 minutes at VO2 max after 4 hours, like, Don't get sucked in, Phil. It's getting strung out. Yeah, does it matter about outside results, Robin? I don't know. I haven't looked. Oh, 100% Robin. It's whether or not, of course, I mean, it's a difficult one because obviously there's hardly any outdoor results this year. Don't put yourself down, Robin. Now then, little group off the front. It's like a real world race. What do you reckon? I reckon this group is big enough to keep us in touching distance. We don't need to respond to it. Come on, Aerotuck. Sit down. Sorry, Phil, I won't say anything if you don't. Aerotuck. Please. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Goodness sake. Doing like 60 odd k an hour. Yes, very true, Robin. Very true. Although, you know I'm one for a suicide attack. I don't really get the idea of like the pro contracting. Like, complete this and then get a chance to get a pro contract. I don't really get it because it's so much more than just like, you know, like, oh my god, like my firing power is like better than our Philippe's. Yeah, so what? It physically makes me sick when I see people comment on people's Strava rides going like, you know, you've got like, why aren't you World Tour? World Tour power, etc, etc. I just don't, there's no perspective whatsoever, unfortunately. I think that's why I'm partly here to try and provide an explanation. I'd do that, rice cooker, I would genuinely do that. Oh, it's splitting up. It is a tricky one because, like, you know, you're obviously put through like however many weeks of trying out for a chance at a pro contract. Don't get me wrong, it shows your ability if you're capable of doing the numbers and beating other people as well. This, like, you know, I've been there and I know what it takes to win an event or even come top 10 in a stage race, or there's so many different things in cycling, and it's wrong to assume that someone like myself can jump into World Tour and keep up with everybody, which could probably happen, but it comes down to like your technical ability, your mindset, like can you actually deal with being a professional rider, because you're chasing contracts year after year. Unless you're Chris Froome and you sign like a bloody 10-year deal. You know what I mean? Oh, it definitely helps you get spotted, but I think there's so many other ways you can get spotted. Like, I'm pretty much more known now for my Zwift racing than anything else, which is mental. I find that a little bit disgusting because I've raced at an elite level for like 7 or 8 years. I'm like, had pretty okay results for the small kind of rider that I am, in terms of, you know, there's only a few races in the world that likely suit me. One of them is the Tour of Portugal, Tour of Japan, Tour of Korea, which I've never done. Oh, is it Pro Conti? Not World Tour. Interesting, although there's very little difference nowadays. What's that, Lord? Good quote, Niels. I somewhat disagree. Not with all of it. I think that's a very complex way of looking at it. And it's different in America, I think, and in Europe, than it is in the UK. I mean, I've only had experience in the UK, so, or at least working your way up in the UK. I'm more known for Zwifting. I don't know. It's rather bizarre that some of these Zwift races, or most of them, get more views and watch time than my normal videos. And yet there's definitely one I put more work into than the other. Zwift I don't really like, you know, it's all part of the fun. But out on the road it's like, that's what I was born to do. Or at least multiple days anyway. I probably wouldn't make it to the final, especially if I had to race head-to-head, because they wouldn't make a race go at Mont Ventoux, would they? Or Ventop rather. If it's just a flat race, then yeah. It's true, though, not a lot of people know my background. And that to me is very strange. Surely, like, you don't get to know a rider. I'll give you a little bit of a history lesson. So the Tour of Japan is where Hugh Carthy got spotted for his climbing talents because of the Mount Fuji stage and his overall finishing position, because he was beaten by, he came third overall, and the two guys who finished in front of him, I think, were from an Iranian team, and they were like, you wouldn't touch them with a barge pole, legit. And in fact, the hilliest stage, he got in a break with them two, and he was actually told to sit on because he was slowing them down. It was just the three of them, and he was told to sit on because he was slowing them down. True story. Also, also, like the Tour of Korea, I've raised that a couple of times. Like before Caleb Ewan, if any of you know who Caleb Ewan is, you probably don't. He's not that much of a big deal. He actually like kicked off what I'd say his dominance at the Tour of Korea. He came there with Orica Green Edge way back, and we were there that race. Stage 1, there was a massive pile up. It was like 210k, and there was a pile up, 300 metres to go. I was off the back actually because I'd done my lead out, and yeah, I was off the back, so I saw it all. And yeah, Caleb Ewan went on to win like 3 stages or something like that. And well, I'd raced him even before then. I'd raced him at the Bay Crits in Australia. But he was like another level in terms of sprinting. Even against like our guys, to a certain extent. Are you ready for next week, Niels? You ready for the community races? Oh, nice, Scott. Is that today? Is that tonight's video? Or is it a different one? This is Bigfoot Hills course, but I think there's like an extra loop or something. Because Bigfoot Hills is about 75k, and this is 100k today, so there might be a sneaky extra bit somewhere. I meant the chat meals. Mod the chat. Be hearing some of that now this month. October's the month of the return of the... Those of you that know. Yeah, it's a great course, isn't it? It's got like a nice bit of everything, plus you get lots of recovery in between climbs. Well, I do. Sorry. Yeah, preach noises. We hope. We hope. What's Cam's trademark? Doesn't Cam have a trademark? I don't even know what mine is. I suppose Ed mode is a trademark, isn't it? Although we haven't trademarked it yet. We need to get on that. This is shock horror. Which kilometre would you like, Zach? You guys are mean. Definitely. Oh yeah. I could actually do that here, but I thought you'd mock me for it, so I'm sticking with the keyboard. You are honestly mean, yes. You have to unzip the jersey soon. Although I'm quite dry on the front. Yeah. What is that black flag? Is that Wales? Does that mean lockdown, quarantine area? Is it? Black flag is like the plague. The plague lives here. I don't know if he does have it, or if he was on loan. I don't know. I'm assuming Pritchard still got it. What do I think of Phil's chase race? Great question. I didn't watch it live, I caught up on it. If I watched it live, I would have told Phil to stop. Quite frankly. Because, actually I spoke to him a few days before that. I didn't know he was going to do that race. But I told him that the amount of work that he'd done in Italy and then Exmoor, going out every day and doing, you know, doing kind of, it's not so much big efforts, it's just doing them every day. And, you know, that's what he wanted to do for the videos, and that's fine. But then we wanted to make sure that he didn't overcook it when he came back. He picked up a stomach bug the weekend that he came back to London. Still kept riding without telling me he had a stomach bug. And then, yeah, like, basically it was an accumulation yesterday, and I knew it when I saw the first part of the race. Because when I watch it back, I mean, and I watched it, I was like, this is it, like, this is, I can see it coming, here it is. And you know, he basically just stopped pedaling, didn't he, for a couple of seconds, and then got himself together. But to be honest, I would have just said, like, knock it on the head. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And even if I just told him, like, ride like 100 watts, but still keep the stream going and just have a chat with people. You know, it's the same thing. Like, most of you are here for the chat anyway, and you only jump in, or you only kind of, well, enjoy the last bit or the crunch points, which is fair enough and fine. But yeah, like, don't stress it. Like, don't stress it. You know, I'm not putting any blame on Phil at all, because I've done it in the past where I've not told, you know, the boss that I've got a cold, and, you know, it's something you don't necessarily want to say. Yeah, it is probably my fault. I'm a terrible role model. But yeah, even I have my days. Even during lockdown. At the start of the year, I was in a bit of a mess. And it's one thing to know when to press on, it's another thing to know when to stop. If you're having a bad day, and there's nothing really that points to it, then it might be fine to carry on. I always err on the side of caution though. Like, what's one day lost? You know? Thing is, as well, like, the more Phil deploys the pain face, in other words, the more times he goes as hard as he can, like, actually, the less times he can go as hard as he can, because it takes away the ability to go as hard as you can. Is that too obvious? Like, you basically take away from the fact that you can't go as hard if you keep going hard. Eventually you'll force, you know, a change in the body, and you probably will be able to go as hard. But if you have one rest day, you're likely to be able to go harder in the long run. Maybe not the day after the rest day, but maybe 4 days after the rest day, or 9 days after the rest day. You know, you never know. But it's one thing, it's just having the perspective to just take a step back and go, I don't really need to do it. You know, I don't really need to do it. Hey Tim, how you doing? Oh. Whew. Someone's gone for a solo. Yeah, why does it never give you guys a scare? Whenever my heart rate drops off a cliff, you're like, ah, it's normal. It's normal. It's normal. How much do I sleep on average? I go to bed about 9:30. I wake up about 6:30. Maybe 6-ish. What do you mean I'm a freak? Oh, the heart rate. Yeah. That makes a difference what age you are. You can die of a heart attack at any age. Sorry to bring the tone down, but hashtag facts. I've seen this guy before. The Bone Breaker. I think he was in Phil Rich's stream once. Least effort as possible. Slide through the group. Ah, that's the one, Phil. You can see the group still fairly big behind me, so I'm just going to stay with these. Little surge as we go around the bend, just to make sure I'm well positioned. There we go. Happy days. still a fairly big group here.
I'm happy to stay with them.
It's like, what's going through my head right now, when you're in a group, or when you're in a race like this rather, it's constant evaluation of where you are on the course and then where everybody else is. And if it's probably beneficial to stay with the biggest group, obviously depends who's in that group. There's a good few A's in this group, so I'm not too like fussed about. I mean, there's also a good few like A's in the front group, but it's one of those things where it's so far from the finish. You know, is that group of like 10 in front going to be willing to push on for the final hour and a half or hour 20, whatever it's going to be? And that only came out recently though, didn't it, Robin? So maybe people just aren't, they haven't read up on it yet, maybe. Yeah, you're right, Josh, you're right. Feels like it, anyway. So there they are, they're just in front. No stress yet. Well, I'm no pro, George. But you're right, yeah, it is easier to deploy tactics when you're one of the strongest in the group. Because of course you can breathe, you can think. You're not struggling to hang on. Yeah, exactly, George. That'll come, don't worry. Yeah, monsieur, it's a difficult one now, because how much do you find yourself like in no man's land? Do you find yourself being like 10 and 30? Like 10 seconds behind the front group and 30 seconds in front of the second group? Or do you find yourself like in equal distance? What's it like? I think so, Josh. Okay, if it's 10 and 30, what I'd say is that you're obviously strong enough to be hang on. Somebody's let the wheel go. Doesn't make a difference. Long and hard climbs. Everything improves in cycling. To be honest. So basically if you're 10 seconds behind, that front group, and like 30 seconds in front of the second group, you've obviously got the ability to be in that front group more than the second group. What I say is, on a climb, you may be better off trying to get away just before it, or trying that at the very least, to see where that lands you. You may also feel like you want to difficult to say, because I could say work on your drafting, work on your drafting, but if it's on a climb, depends which climb it is. But to be honest, that's probably your first bet, is to try and get away before the climb, put in a big attack for a minute, settle at like upper zone 3 or sweet spot, and then hit the climb as you would in the group. So attack it, see if you can hold the gap, and when the gap comes down, you know, you could find yourself just 2 seconds off the back rather than 10. That's a practical way of dealing with it, to be honest. I mean, the issue is, if you wait for that second group, you won't be in that front group. You know, and the thing is, you want to be in that front group. So you want to do things that are going to make you either stay in that front group or be closer than 10 seconds down. Also depends how long the climb is. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a tactic that works outside, you know, most of the time. You'll see riders are getting breakaways just to get a minute on, you know, the peloton when they hit the big Alp, so. It is a rest day. Oh. Okay, so we're almost halfway with an hour on the clock. So this is probably going to be an hour, 2 hours 10 maybe, roughly. Yeah, definitely, Keith, definitely. I mean, that's very specific. That's very race specific there, isn't it? I know, that's the problem, George, when they all start the cats together. I mean, it's good for some B cats in the sense that they want to race, but it's the same lot on the road. Like in the UK, where you have an elite first and second category race. You know, the second cat riders complain that they have to race with the elites, but yet they still enter. And the first, second and third cat races, or first, second, third and fourth cat races, are actually like kind of well stacked. Like loads of people enter those. Mainly because you've got a better chance of staying in. But I mean, it does make sense. But some second cat riders want to, you know, be against the elites because it forces them to go harder, regardless if they fail. And I think on Zwift you can fail a lot more comfortably. You know, you can get away with failing in a Zwift race, and it doesn't really matter, unless of course it's the World Zwift Championship or something. It's not like outdoor racing where, you know, you've driven like 3 hours to get there and then you get a puncture like an hour into a 5-hour race. Or you blow up or whatever. It's different for me because I live stream, but hey, we've got 2 young ones in here. What's going on? Morning, sir. By the way, for breakfast this morning, I had 4 Weet-Bix, drizzled in honey. What did you have? Hey Oliver. It's been a hot minute, how are you? Stringing out. I do actually have to be wary around here. I know, Robin. Not all your races are flat, so. Strong coffee, or stoned coffee in Theo's case. Neil's nose. Neil's nose. Interesting that most of you say porridge, that's pretty cool. I agree to it. Yeah, I know. True story, George. To be honest, Titan's Row was not my favourite. Hi Simon. I know I could be doing a real hill climb today. I'm getting ready for the national hill climb camp. No, Josh. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Unless you come out of lockdown. So your guess is as good as mine. I'm still training for it. I did 10 watts per kilo yesterday for 70 seconds, so we're getting there slowly. I know, Meg. Yeah, only 50 seconds left. To be fair though, that was so yesterday was 70 seconds as hard as I can go. So I obviously did more than like 10 watts per kilo for like 45 seconds, and then I started to drop. So I was thinking, like, you know, I mean, there's loads of ways you could do it. You know, I could go 11 watts per kilo for a minute and 30, and then completely fall off a cliff. Or I could do, I haven't actually paced it, which is obviously hard to do. I haven't actually paced it, so I could probably get that to stretch a couple more seconds if I paced it at the start, but I haven't tried that. I'm just all about going for it in a minute. Just raw power. I know, Keith. Kenway's a top lad, yeah. Strong as well, so it's always a good combo. I could go on RGT. No, that's as hard as I could go for the climb that I did, Keith. It was just a Keith. It was just a climb. It does indeed, Tim. Full send. But I'm out to prove a lot of people wrong, in that someone my size who can do 6.3 watts per kilo per hour can also do 10 watts per kilo for 2 minutes. So if I could do both of those spectrums, yeah, that's like a lifelong goal right there. Thing is, like, there's a lot of people in the UK who can do there's a lot of people in the UK who can do like, you know, really good power for like less than 5 minutes, and they can also do really good power for like 20 minutes. But then what's their power like for an hour? And then what's their power like for like repeated climbs? That's something that I'm pretty, like, not to like blow air up my own backside, like, but truth be told, I can pretty much cover all bases, or at least I will be able to if I do 10 watts per over 2 minutes. If I can do that, that would be like, yeah, I'd just retire, I think I'd just give up cycling, because I won't be able to get any better. Yeah, well, yes, Keith, I probably would have been able to go on for longer, but the average power was dropping, so, you know, it's not just as simple as well, I probably could get through the Tour de France, yeah. Considering I'm a stage racer, anyway. I've done 10-day stage races, so I always get better. You wait till I start doing ultra endurance. Blooming heck. Black and Morton better watch out, I tell you. I mean back-to-back days, not like one-off events, one-day events. Thank you, Simon. I appreciate your faith in me. To be honest, I question my sanity trying to aim for that. Oh, definitely Mick. Definitely Mick. At some point I'm going to see a decline, and you guys will see that as well. But it's amazing to me how sports physiology, sports and exercise physiology is changing all the time. So there's people who are in their 40s, even late 30s, going faster than me, doing the same power numbers as me, and that just shows I would hope so also. You know, I like to put a focus on something. So with banana. Did you get my text? My text charged for a banana that she didn't produce. Pogachar's and Roglic's numbers. I don't know Roglic's numbers, but Pog's numbers are very high, aren't they? Totally doable though, I think. I didn't actually want to know, but I mean, you saw in Compound TV's video, Pogacar did, sorry, my video, but we also talked about it. Pogacar did like, what was it, 7 watts per kilo for a ridiculous amount of time. In the time trial he beat Roglic. But he also did that at the end of a 3-week stage race. Also at the end of a time trial, which is something that you can't compare to. So like for me now, I can't say, oh, I can do that. What I could say though is that Pogacar's trained for that. So Pogacar should be able to do that. I shouldn't be able to do it because I'm not trained for it. But if I train for it, could I do it? That's the question. The question is always the wrong question, because people just look directly at the numbers and they don't think about the work that the riders put in to get there. And it annoys me a little bit because the perspective still needs to be kept, in the sense that Pogacar has trained to be able to do it, and so of course he's doing it. I've not trained to do it, so I'm not going to do it. if I trained to do it, could I do it? I say I probably could. Not gonna lie, I probably could. That's just my belief. You could disagree, we're all entitled to our opinions, but I believe I could do it. We could test it. You know, I could try and replicate Pogacar's numbers. But first we've got to do Alberto Contador's. We're going to attempt to do Sam off the field for 20 minutes a la Alberto Contador. So I'm probably going to live stream that. Well, Keith, is he a freak for his age, or is that the way sports science is going? So a lot of them, sorry I'm eating and talking at the same time, the reason why athletes are getting faster younger is because they're training younger. By the time Pogacar is like 15, he's got 5 years worth of Training Peaks data already. You know, it doesn't have to be precise, but what I'm saying is, like, he's obviously got a deep background in some form of sport. And that's what's changing the breed of rider, and that's why they're getting younger. The problem with that is, as well, is of course they reach their peak earlier, so they have a shorter, not a shorter career, but they basically do the opposite of Valverde. So they win the Tour at 20, and then they keep winning until they're 30, or 25, 30, and then they just kind of go mediocre, you know. Yeah, I know the Tarlings, yeah. No, I won't be standing for 20 minutes, no. You look at some kids on Instagram who ride in Belgium and, you know, other places. They can do track stands, they can do roller tricks, they can do everything at like 5 years of age. It's mental. That's why. That's why. The Tarlins are a great example, David, because the Tarlins are one of the fastest guys in their age group and strongest in the UK, and they're also competing with the elite, just as fast as me basically. But you know, they haven't finished growing, and they're still very young. Once they finish growing, you know, how much are they actually going to develop? So it's actually a good thing, you know, starting them young, because in a sense they're getting there quicker, and then they're able to enjoy it more in theory as a younger rider. So winning the Tour at 20, in theory, you've got your whole career in front of you. And it brings more sponsorship deals, and it brings everything else, and like, there's lots of other things to consider. So I find it really interesting that the sport is getting younger, and yet the endurance riders are all a lot older, and that's a lot to do with genetics, but that's right there, yeah. Oh, Richie Port's mega, isn't he? I don't know if there's any, such a nice rider as Richie Port. So that's Keith. Something else though that I'd like to point out is that just because we don't hear of these people, like Keith has just mentioned there, doesn't mean they don't exist. It doesn't mean that they can't win the Tour. The issue I think we're going to have now though is with lots and lots of young riders being very good very quickly, we're going to run out of space for them to go. Eventually you're just going to push all the old farts out. Especially in the UK, there's not very many places they can go to. I mean, that's if they want to ride in the UK, but for a UK team, but there's nothing in the UK anyway. Now, there used to be. I think for the most part, Mick, they just develop naturally, or at least they should. That's one of the reasons why I get asked, like, why am I not World Tour? Because my development trajectory, I developed very fast, but I wasn't actually that good. You know, in terms of like overall fitness and watts per kilo, I was getting dropped in races with climbs. Like, I wasn't that great. And it wasn't until I was like 24 when I started to turn the page. And by then it's like, you know, where have you been the last 6 years? Like, but that's people's natural progression, and some people prefer to leave it like that, and other people want to force the issue. Like, you know, there's some people who are like, you know, mid-teens, and they want to like be 60 kilos and have an FTP of 6 odd watt per kilo, and I'm like, well, is that like, don't like, if you're naturally skinny, you know, fair enough, don't force the issue. Like, if you, I was 65 kilos when I was 18 until I was like 21, 22, and now I'm like naturally 60, so what's that, Lee? You never won an international TT before the tour. I thought you won the Slovenian TT champs. Or am I wrong? The thing is though, it does weird things to Lee. It does weird things. Like, he was literally within a shout of winning the greatest bike race in the world. And that, no sports psychology can like determine how much that drives somebody. So for him, he's like, yeah, I'm going for this. You know? Definitely, Josh, definitely. You focus on the watts, buddy. Focus on the watts. Definitely, what is good will come. I like that quote. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean, Lee. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, psychologically as well, going into that TT, knowing that he's already beaten Roglic in a time trial, is pretty severe. Like, I'm no expert, but I'd say at least 65% of that effort from Roglic was affected by that, and not that. He's well trained, he's a very disciplined bike rider, he's obviously got the ability, so that is probably playing a smaller part in his effort that day than that, I would have thought, just because he was going up against Pogacar, sorry, and knowing that he'd already got the better of him. Pretty nuts, I'd say, pretty nuts. He's been caught since he was 11. There we go. Six foot 2. Oof. It's weird though, because like neither of my parents are like, you know, skinny. You know, I don't know if I'm genetically. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I think it's going to kick off a bit. Oh, I know, Robin, I know. I agree, Darren, but that only applies to World Tour riders or professional riders. Sorry, because if you said that to a Zwifter, they'd go, well, yeah, I don't want to ride the Tour. I want to do 400 watts for 20 minutes on Zwift. It depends what your opinion on high performance is. If your opinion on high performance is being able to do, 6.5 watts per kilo for 40 minutes after the Tour de France, but if your idea of high performance is, riding on Zwift and beating A+ riders, then that's also acceptable. Or cyclocross races. I think just everybody's opinion, everybody's view on it is different, isn't it? It could well be argued that, George. I mean, we don't really see enough of the data to be able to make an educated assumption on it, because of course, we are led to believe that the Tour de France is the hardest bike race in the world, but is that because of the fatigue, or is that because of the effort they're putting in day to day? And I don't think it is the latter per se. It depends what your role is, if you're a breakaway rider and everything else, but I think if you're a protected rider, of course you've got to expend energy, but it's a different kind of energy. And you're well trained as well, so it's about where you spend your energy. So it's all interesting. Where are we going now? I mean, to a certain extent, I chose to not ride anymore at that level, even though people told me that, if I pursued the right path, I could be at a higher level. But there's something about what I do that means just because you have the power doesn't mean you necessarily have to do what other people think is the path or the correct way to use that power. What's to say that this is the best way for me to use my power? Chatting with you guys and still being able to do these races, providing you an insight into a few things, and not just racing to the best of my ability. Oh, 100% rice cooker. 100%. I've heard that from lots of different people. You've only got to look, I think, at like Alex Dowsett, and you know, fair play, shows a lot of like raw emotion in the videos, and I think it shows the side of professional cycling that is the same as what I experienced. It's the same as what you experience if you just compete in your local events. But it doesn't change just because you're getting paid for it. It doesn't change. Your happiness doesn't change because you're on 50 grand a year. I don't know if Dowsett's on that, but I'm just saying a random number. But for me, it was like, I can either ride for a team, move up the ladder and win bike races, and that can be like a pinnacle for me, like winning events. But if winning events is the thing, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a Tour de France or if it's a Zwift race, if that's the feeling you're after. Because the feeling of dedicating yourself to that, for me, is a greater amount of accomplishment than actually pulling it off. Because just like this 10 watt per kilo thing I'm trying to do, that gives me more satisfaction trying to get there than it would do if I got there and won the nationals. It's all about context and how you see it playing out. You know, if you've got the flexibility to do what you want to do and get paid for it without being at the mercy of other people, it's a no-brainer to me. It's just a complete no-brainer. You know, and that can be, you know, working for a teammate. I've done that. I get so much satisfaction from it. I've done that in real world, and I've been a protected rider in the real world. Well, when I was racing for the teams I raced for, there was only 1 year contract we were given, Mick. That's just how it is. That's just how it is, and yet, yeah, no, that's brilliant, Zach. That's brilliant. And then if that allows you to tick the box, you know, to go on to more things, then that's brilliant. You know, there's no right or wrong way. I think you're right in a sense, George, but you know, this isn't my intention. My intention is still to perform at the highest level I can without the restrictions of racing for a team, equipment, things like that. Like, I've always said, I mean, even going back like 8 years ago when I first started racing for teams, and I was like, the big concern I had then, which is like it sounds ridiculous, right? But back then I was like, if I'm racing for teams, I can't win my club records, like my hill climb, like club record. I can't win the trophy at the end of the year. I can't win, like, I can ride the events, but I'm not allowed to have them. And I'm not allowed to win them because I'm not a member of the club, technically. So that to me was like, if I'm going to lose all of my best years to not being able to just perform at the club that I've loved and always been a part of, then that's like, to me that was like a real letdown. Well, it depends if a 60 kilo rider, like has a good sprint, then it's still possible, isn't it? It's the way the races are raced, George. It's not the terrain of the races, it's the way the races are raced that doesn't suit a rider of my style. Because when we went to, you know, there's been races in the UK that have been really hard. They've not been like super hilly, but it's just the accumulation of the whole day. And I've still been there in the last group of 20. But then, you know, it's the way the races are raced tactically that prevents somebody like myself from having an impact on the race. There's a couple of races where I've podiumed in like national high level events in the UK. I've come top 25 in the Tour of Yorkshire. I mean, it's doable, but it is hard. What's that, 4 watts per kilo, Josh? Yeah, but that's gold standard anyway, isn't it? Like 4 watts per kilo for 5 hours is pretty standard for an elite level rider in the UK. Hi Scott, coach. Am I on the big screen, Bullet? Nice one, Bullet. Wahoo! 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 I hope Scott's got you on a good wage, Bullet. Getting you to do all these things. I hope you're at least on 35% of YouTube revenue. Roger that, Stuart, roger that. So you can have a whole pound. Where do we go now? Do we go back over? I'm assuming we go back over. Here's Bullet. We should be done now in like half an hour, I reckon. Ish. Best key for erg mode. I usually go in the little ring and I go halfway down the cassette. Tempo, Robin, tempo. I wonder where the finish line will be then. Anybody willing to geek out on the map? Say where you can roughly think 100k would be. Where did you say you're watching the live stream, Robin? You got it, George, you got it. Cheers, Niels. Ooh, Lord with the quick stats there, probably finish inside the volcano. We will see. So forward climb, and then it'll be a descent to the volcano, and then it should be finishing the volcano. We are guessing. Hit the like button! Yeah, but that's for the 75k loop, I think, Robin. Isn't it? That's not for the 100k one. I could be wrong. Oh, no way, George. Which hill climb was it? Roger that, Robin. Sounds like a good place for an attack, doesn't it? Forward comp. 90k, it's 10k to go from there to the finish. What do you reckon? I am busting for the toilet. For pee. To give me a urine sample. To Zada. Ah, okay. Yeah, I bet. We had a ton of rain yesterday. Swing a leg on the descent. Quick! Oh, 2 minutes. It's about to get a little bit spicy. A little bit spicy. Oh, nice one, Robin, nice one. Perfect. That was out of time, really. Come in. Well, what are you thinking?
Well, it smells chicken dinner.
And then what you doing?
We've got chicken. There's no sugar to it.
Ah,
What on the rest?
well, I can't do it now, can I? Ah, James Benman. I know. I saw your Instagram stories. I think I would have just wheel spin the whole way up. Where's Sam? Oh, cross headwind. That sounds like the worst ever conditions for a bike race. Unless it was obviously a direct headwind. I bet it is, James. I bet it is. There's something about just riding single ring as well. It just makes it a whole lot easier mentally. And also probably looks better as well, doesn't it? Cheers, Robin. $20K to go. It's hot enough. It's hot enough. Ah, dinosaur. Oh, level 40. Good gracious. Oh, I'm going to wet myself. Nah, I reckon today's will be about 80, 75, 80. I mean, 205 watts is like zone 1, zone 2, borderline zone 1, zone 2, 205, so. Also, yeah, it depends if I go really hard at some point. My legs aren't actually used to riding this long, pedaling the whole time. Yeah, I do. I did compare them. I do record them. There's about a 5 watt difference, roughly 5 to 10 watt difference. Kickr reads higher, I think. Oh. Jeez. That wasn't good. It's frankly amazing how much weaker I feel in an aerobic effort like this. Like, I think gone are the days already of my 7 watt per kilo 20 minutes. Just because I'm focusing all my energy on short efforts lose fitness rapidly. Plus, what's going on? Lol. Old school talk. Decent meal. I have no idea where the finish line is. I have no idea where the initial ramps are. Like which ones you're talking about, I have no idea. Oh my god, I'm busting for the toilet. Like really badly for the last half an hour. When you turn left, so up this little bit there, before the lap banner. Cheers, Rodri. This bit of here, you mean? It might be the gravel. No? Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, for goodness sake. This is not ideal. It's not indexing. I'm done. Call it a day. The gears are messing me up there, so. It shows aerobically I've like lost that upper end just basically by doing short hill climbs. Definitely shows. Oh. In all seriousness, like I know some of you don't take it seriously, but oh. 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 Just gonna pedal in nice and steady. If I get caught, I get caught, it doesn't matter. I'm not after a world tour contract in this race. We'll have a look at the graph now in a sec. Oh. Other thing as well is like, come on, they'll catch me easy. Guys, don't stress, man. Don't stress about it. Don't stress about the result. So, as I was saying, like, I know that messes with a lot of you, doesn't it? The mindset there just messes with you. But I'm cool with it. It just doesn't bother me at all. I have to say, it makes a massive difference when, like, you don't do it and then you jump back in to do it. My legs are shot. My legs are shot from just pedaling for 2 hours, basically. I've not done that since. Well, when did we come out of lockdown the first time? Like ages ago. So my legs are just. My legs are just shot from that race. Maybe I should have done the shorter one. Oh. Rest day tomorrow though. Give me a second, I'm going to empty my bladder. Oh my word. That definitely slowed me down. What TSS guesses? $111. Blimey, when did we do 290 for 2 hours? Flipping heck. That's mental. It's a good way to work myself back into long Zwifting, I guess, you know. Because, like, most of it was zone 1, zone 2, but that last bit was pretty hard, considering all of that riding indoors and no pedaling. No rest from pedaling then. Oh. I can't breathe. I wish I could do all the cat races. Give you a wheel to follow. Anyway, guys, I gotta shoot. Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate your company. It's nice to bring back the longer Zwift rides. They won't be happening that often though, because I'll still be focused on that 2-minute engine. So thanks for coming, and I will see you very soon. Don't forget to thumbs up if you enjoyed. Thank you.